Just a reminder, right before you listen to the gospel or you hear a sermon, ask God to show you something. He's got something just for you in either one of those things. And guaranteed, if you ask him, he'll point it out for you. Maybe just one line, okay, to take home with you. All right. Have you ever said this to someone you're trying to help and it's getting frustrating? Come on, you got to give me something to work with here, okay? You know, you want to help them, but you need some cooperation, okay? God says the same thing to us. Think how often God asks for a small step before he does a big miracle. For example, fill the jars with water, and he changes water into wine. Go show yourselves to the priests, and the 10 lepers are healed on the way there. Cast your net on the other side, and the disciples pull in 153 fish. And to Moses, lift up your staff, and the Nile splits in two. These simple human actions become the trigger for a divine miracle. In our gospel, Jesus responds to the crowd's hunger by telling the disciples, "Bring me what you have." Let's start there. Jesus could have dropped food from the sky, just like Moses did in his day, with manna and quail, but he didn't. Bring me what you have. This makes it clear that God could act without us, but he loves to use what we place in his hands. This cooperation, right? Even from the beginning in the Garden of Eden, God invited Adam to work with him. He asked him to work, till, and care for the garden. So I guess man's first job was basically lawn care. Okay, my wife would agree. I was just listening to this song. I probably said it before. It's called Castles. And now it's a secular song. It's not a religious song. But the main verse in it really stood out for me. And it goes like this. I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to build castles from the rubble of your love. I'm going to build castles from the rubble of your life. Think about the rubble of your life. The things we did out of human weakness, or the things others did to us. Give all that to God first. Give him what you've got, no matter how hopeless or shameful. He works with the raw material of our lives, not the perfect version, but the real version. The tiredness, the disappointments, the I just can't go any farther version of us. He multiplies what we offer over to him, but he won't multiply what we refuse to give. Okay? So picture yourself on a kayak on Pike Creek. If you just sit there waiting for the kayak to move, nothing's going to happen. But the moment you put your paddle into the water, even awkwardly, the river meets your effort. Our effort is the paddle. Our power, God's power is the river. Your tiny action unlocks a much bigger force. That's what we call grace. Okay, the miracle happens when the two meet. Now, I've seen a lot of life-changing miracles in people. And I can tell you that those miracles did not take place until the person first gave over to God the raw materials of their life, the good and the bad. They honestly told God what they were struggling with. And that's the raw material, that's the rubble that God needs. This life is overwhelming me, Lord. I've only got 5 loaves and 2 fish, okay? When we show God the little that we have, that's when God starts listening. So next time you're in confession, tell your sins, of course, but also admit what area that you're struggling with and be honest. We all face those, I've tried, I've got nothing left. And God says, give me the little that you have, and I'll make something out of it, guaranteed. Maybe it's a bit of patience for someone who's draining us, a tiny act of kindness when we don't feel like doing anything, a short prayer when we're exhausted at the end of the day, a small apology when it feels really awkward. So God multiplies whatever we offer. Now, if you're struggling with sin, same thing. The first step is small. Put the bottle down, throw out the weed. I'm sure not a lot of us here smoke weed, but somebody must be, because there's a lot of stores open in this city. Driving down Tecumseh Road like going through a cannabis theme park. Everywhere you turn, there's a Tim Hortons and a cannabis. So anyway, stuff's not good for you unless it's medicinal. Shut off the pornography or the online gambling. That's a new thing that's coming out as a big addiction. Just, you know what? Just turn it off and go to sleep. Small step. And that's where the miracle begins. And if you fall, don't hide like Adam and Eve did. Just go back and repeat step one, okay? Now, our first reading, St. Paul really backs it up with the one line. Nothing can separate us from the love, from the help of God. Nothing. In a moment, we will bring up our own bread and wine to this altar. It's simple, ordinary, and small. But when we place it in Jesus' hands, they become his body and his blood. We offer something small, and he gives us something infinite.